2025 is finally over. And these are the most relevant endurance performance moments that we had this year. We had Casper Stornes won the men's Ironman World Championships. Løvseth won Kona on the women's side. Kipruto and Obiri won the New York City Marathon. Stay to the end because every single race that I'm going to mention today have something in common. And that something in common, it's what made the difference for these champions to win those races. At the Ironman World Championships, Casper Stornes led the Norwegian team. Behind him were Gustav, Iden, and Kristian Blummenfelt. Honestly, leading Iden and Blummenfelt throughout the Norwegian podium was magical for me to watch, and probably even more magical for Casper to do it. And listen, observe to the pattern of each race and what each of them have in common, because at the end I'm gonna tell you the reason why they actually won. At the Ironman World Championship 70.3, Jelle Geens won the men's race, and Lucy Charms won the women's side after rebounding from earlier step backs. These races weren't chaotic, they were controlled. And that same pattern happened to my athletes this year. If you guys remember Milena, the most famous documentary we did this year, while she was competing at the Ironman 70.3 Oceanside, we had the opportunity to document her and watch her journey all the way to World Championship 70.3. Milena wasn't top 10 because she was the strongest. She's 19, and as you guys can see, tiny and small because she doesn't let mistakes go by. She's at the beginning of her age group and she was top 10 in the planet for Ironman 70.3, and you're still struggling to do your morning walk. On the Ironman field, we had Giovanni, another athlete that we made a documentary this year, to qualify for World Championships in Kona next year. And continue with triathlons. If one Ironman wasn't enough, imagine doing multiple ones back to back. This year we have Taaka. We had the opportunity to help him complete a 530-kilometer triathlon, the longest attempt this year, which unfortunately was not official because each of the pieces, swimming, bike, and running, needs to be percentage of the race. And unfortunately, even though he did the longest triathlon ever, he didn't officially got into the Guinness Book. But hey, he's still a legend. In marathon running, as usual, we had the 6 majors. I talk about the biggest marathon in the planet, New York City Marathon. Benson Kipruto won the men's race. Obiri won again on the women's side. And in representing us, we didn't have a winner, but we had a fighter, Pedro. And if you didn't watch his documentary yet, he traveled all the way from Brazil to New York to represent us, to represent his mother that had cancer. With his brave spirit, he fought against 60 other 1,000 runners to do his best. He ended up breaking his PR, finishing with a time of 3:27 by Strava, because you know, if it's not on Strava, it's not real. And telling an inspiration story and letting us tell an inspiration story for those that are thinking to run their first marathon. But he didn't stop there, because he agreed with our challenge to compete on the last man standing and run up to 140 miles this year in September, which you're gonna watch later. In ultra running distance at Western States 100, Caleb Olson won the men's race. Abby Hall was the first woman to finish. And talking about ultra running, I didn't have the opportunity to complete any running races this year, but at the end of last year, I had the opportunity to run a 40 miles ultra with Ash, and technically the video came out this year, so shout out for Ash for doing 100 miles and letting me help him to conclude that race. At the UTMB Mont-Blanc, conditions changed everything. Tom Evans won the men's race to rain, cold, and altitude. Ruth Croft won the women's side. 174 kilometers, weather swings, and technical issues. These guys are legends. But in my favorite field, swimming, there's many events that happened this year, but if there's one we cannot forget, was Katie Ledecky kept winning distance races. She was the first ever woman to break 15 minutes in the mile. 15 minutes. Do you understand that some of you cannot even walk a mile in less than 15 minutes? And this lady is swimming sub 15s. I had the opportunity to complete my longest yet race this year, swimming 8 miles in shark infested waters, which prepared myself for next year adventure, which is going to be a half marathon. Yes, a half marathon swimming. But as I promised that I would tell you, across every sport we have something in common. Across every race we had something in common. Between every single athlete we had something in common. Something that you cannot buy it, something you cannot measure with your watch, something that is not going to show up in the lactate test, something that you and I have in common: a training partner. For every race, every single scenario, we had someone training with someone, because study shows that pushing yourself to the limit next and with someone, it's way more efficient than by yourself. And that's why most of these athletes already did the diligence, because having good genetics, having proper fueling, training enough, it's all basis of a program that you should follow if you want to be a champion, but having a training partner that can push you every day to go 1 more mile, 1 more minute, 1 more rap is the difference between you and I to all the world champions this year. This wasn't an year of miracles, but might need to be in 2026 if these guys want to beat themselves.